our right now, what we're talking about is what does style mean, and what approach do we take for a generic or for a landing page template from the point of view of the system. So if we look at our how would you say, at our if we look at the goal of doing a landing page design, relative to you specifically, forget about generalizing it. You're the designer who's looking to, let's use my core profiles, and let's say you're here, you're Jose Leonardo Barrios, Felice de la Gatta, which is pretty much Jose Leonardo Barrio, and you both are projectors actually, which is interesting. I think, yeah, you are. Finding meaning in the work, the stage that will reflect, who you are, being treated with respect, surviving and prosperity, to have a family, to be recognized. Are those accurate to you?
Yes.
Okay. So we just looked at a bunch of different designers and approaches. You mentioned this one, and you're evil, dorky evil. So you're like, you like this because it's just straight to the point. And your website currently is actually pretty optimized for straight to the point. So like, let's look at Felice. Got your position as will design for small teams with big ideas. We're working on changing that. We're in the middle of doing your mic for
Ambitions, yeah.
So this is I'm giving context to everything for those that are watching this later in the future, since it will make sense. First of all, I love your website. Obviously, I responded pretty quickly. It took me a while to find the work. I'm like, where's the work? And I ended up clicking on.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking of adding a work link into the main navigation so that.
But once I saw the work, you added a lot of validation, like design award winner. I loved kind of seeing a little bit of the design system. There's quotes. There's nicely done. What do you call that? Mock-ups. So, okay, cool. What I look at, by the way, and if I'm one of your customer profiles, which I am, I'm the next profile there. I want to see the difference, like how do you approach different client types? So then if I go to this one, which is a small business, okay, that's very playful. That's very interesting. Okay, and it's very contextual to the business. So you understand the scale of this type of business. You're not going to make it look like a startup. So that's really intelligent, right? Then you go to this one and you go, okay, I love modular brand design. That's one of my big jams. So this project was the third project I looked at. And when I saw this, I'm like, got it. That's great that you've explored and kind of done things like this, the playfulness of doing things like that. You take risk. You're Italian, which again, I'm not being like, making it be about, but that means that there is a heritage of design as a vehicle for expression incorporated into the work that is done, and you can deliver that to any size business. So in your profiles, in your micro profiles, I represent your second one. I represent this one, Sarah, a mentor, etc., creative director, agency leader. So I would represent that. This is an entrepreneur and a founder. This is an investor and movement leader. And these are also relatively based on you too and your path. So now you're going from creative graphic designer, freelancer, to being a creative director and agency leader. That's your next, what? We'll make it more like innovative and like stop using the word agency, which technically I'm not a fan of, but it is what it is. And let's call this collective leader. You're a collective leader. As we speak, you're actually a leader in the collective that we're uh, involved in, that we're part of. Collective leader, collective leader. Okay. So the creative director, which we call it the patron, the creative director and collective leader is going to look for specific things, which we're going to fill out now. But what I want to hit here is to make the decision of choosing a landing page type for you, being recognized and increasing the price of your services, therefore your income or revenue is one of the priorities. Got it. Okay. And now here's where we're making the switch from being just a tool, a blunt tool, to being a solutions partner with someone. So the question, regardless of what the URL will be for your service landing page, is how do you position that? So service partner. Name.com. We don't know what the name is going to be of that. Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about
I
what
got
does
uh, I
partner
got
mean.
factoryandshenanigans.com. Should I use that?
Fuckery and shenanigans will work. What would you say being a service partner entails differently? I'll speak from my point of view. Uh, for me, it's innovation, uh, collaboration. Actually, let's start with collaboration. Um, solutions orientation, point of view, reliability.
Taste. Yeah.
What?
Taste.
Yes. Actually, let's put that one. I'm gonna keep reliability is kind of like a given, but I'm gonna do taste. Taste.
And I don't know how we can put it in words, but the fact that we understand each other, like I understand what the business needs are, and so I don't know how we can put that in words, but
Yeah,
yeah,
business mindset. That's simple. Yeah, you're logical. You're Spock with taste. That's a really nice. I'm gonna be funny and put that Spock with great taste. That's a brilliant analogy. Um, so that's already a lot, right? Taste, delivery ability, business mindset, collaboration, solutions orientation, which is business mindset also, and then a point of view is that you're not a yes man. That's what that means. Okay. So based on that order, what that's for me, by the way. You're
yes,
probably gonna say, oh, I want business mindset to be first. So that means that the landing page, if we were to do a list of the things, I'll be blunt, I would love to see work right up front. Like I want to be hooked in by like something pretty, like at the
yeah,
top. But that's just me. I'm also, but going back to that profile, it's a creative director and a leader in a collective. So it is me, even though I don't have blonde hair and I'm not a woman, but a black woman. Close. That's my spirit animal, or my soul. Okay. So that means, uh, big, pretty work or portfolio is what that's called. Similar to like some of the big agencies that are very creative focused, portfolio. I actually like Sagmeister's approach where there's a lot of work actually up at the top instead of just like a header, what do you call it, a hero. So, but let's keep it like that. We'll get the form later. Um, delivery ability. So that's your stack, right? Like process and tools. What do you think? As a second, it's not, well, if we do business mindset first, is problems you solve, right?
yeah. I'm thinking, because this is a pretty, it's a conundrum that I'm not sure I mean, that I've been trying to solve and find some kind of middle ground.
Well, let's just go to your my core. Let's do this. We're gonna do a fun thought experiment. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Because I'm gonna do some test for maneuvers in the dark. I'm gonna download your my core and I am going to put some stuff. I'm gonna download your my core and ask Chad GPT. Please hold to help us answer this question that we're asking, which is this is your my core session. In case you're just tuning in, Felice is a my core coaching client. I don't like the word client. What's a better way of saying that? Maybe I just need to get.
That from the top of my mind, yeah, I don't know.
Maybe let's just keep it like that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not offended. I'm not offended. So
So let's then do what I said. We're gonna download your my core and we're gonna ask Chad the question, download as a PDF. What I do is I download it and I delete anything that I don't want in it so that it doesn't kind of like but I'm gonna close a bunch of windows so that my computer is less burdened by all this. And here we go. So I'm gonna do this in the blind. And we're gonna review your stuff. This is gonna be like us kind of grounding in my core. Your Fido. Yeah, you're dorky, evil,
it's
flaky.
oh, flaky? No, no.
No, obnoxious. What's your what? Flaky says you're 5. I'm evil 6. You're dorky evil.
No, it's I know that it's a little weird how I put dots on it, but the result is actually
The dots are good.
um 5. It's yeah, it's 5 evil, 5 obnoxious, 4 flaky. So it's evil obnoxious. Dorky evil obnoxious.
Got it. Got it. Okay, cool.
I did this on a mobile phone, so the dots are all over the place, but
All good. But then your human design is your projector, the right angle cross of the unexpected. Well, here, I'm gonna reshare my screen so that I'm not just talking crazy. Here we go.
yeah, right.
And you know, a projector is a natural guide who excels at recognizing and directing others' energies. They require rest and invitations to share insight. Like before this, we were already on a morning session, and I'm like, hey, take a break. Deeply perceptive, they thrive when honored, offering wisdom, leadership without blunt force. Fears and desires. Am I delusional? This is a pipe dream. Get a job. Stop chasing these fantasies. Which is a very, it's all of us have that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Your core attributes, your co-creators are pirates, your cultures. Let's go. Feeling wonder, impact is your bridge, and the X factor is cozy. And we really work on a lot of this in a very concerted effort. Your North Star, we're right about here. We're post your North Star, so we are in module 6, but we're freestyling as we speak. And we're taking a detour to landing page land because we are wanting to create a template for landing pages based on your co-creator profiles. But it's good to look at some of this stuff. You really care about giving back. There's some there's some interesting kind of factors here that I think will drive, and then I'm gonna delete all this other stuff because we haven't finished these. This we did finish, okay. All right, so I'm not gonna land on any of those. I'm just gonna basically, before I do that, I'm gonna go here, and I have a project here called Felice Della Gatta on my beam, 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 beam. Where does your last name come in Italy? Like what's the like the history of it?
From what I heard, is kind of like it's from. I'm not sure why the cat, but some it was it was aristocratic surname from the south of Italy, like Sicily. This is what I heard from my family, but yeah, I've never been too curious about it, to be honest.
We should research on that, but not now. All right, so first I'm gonna give a prompt here. Um, Based on this, my core so far, what we've gotten so far for Felice Della Gatta, we want to get your point of view and your recommendation. Imagine you're a strategist and a personal coach and helping somebody reposition their design practice. That's your job. You're very good at it. You've done a great job before on this for others that we are doing here in this. Could you help me um, by basically giving you your point of view on how he should reposition himself so that he can serve um, basically creative directors and collective leaders, entrepreneurs and founders of startups, and investors and movement leaders. He wants to move up towards that and go from just being a blunt, creative tool, production work and design work to a partner, to a solutions partner. Thank you very much. Give me your thoughts. Go crazy. I'm not going to give you any guidelines on what you output. So we'll let Chad work on that. And in the meantime, our goal is to do a landing page. Do you want to? Let's co-share. You can share your screen too. Uh, our objective here, and this is again, people watching this in the future. This is a combined, and let us know in the comments if you would like the template and the process to go from your my core basically profiles, and I'll show mine because this is what we started earlier this morning and working on a work session around these. So here are mine, and they're in Spanish, but this is really the first one is a graphic designer trying to survive. So it's me, before in the past. Uh, the second one is a film producer becoming a coach. The third one is an executive director of a nonprofit, and the fourth one is the CEO of a blockchain company. So I basically went through what are their problems. So I'll start with, I'll just focus on the ones on the right side because those are also the ones that we're going to focus on for you, Felice. So her internal team is talented, but a collaboration is messy. Getting her engineering team to collaborate with UX/design teams is near impossible. She believes in growing her people, but it's hard to do in the middle of the chaos of growth. We help her feel confident in her teams, right? In collaboration, we help her lead technology, design, and marketing teams. So integrate the leadership of her teams, and we help her share her story and support her teams. Now, this here to the right it's a solution to the problem, but it's also like a literal kind of, you can actually bring it down here. So we can access your team's dynamics. We can assess, sorry, your team's dynamics and make recommended solutions for how to train them. we can do the UX and the design with your teams while showing your team how to do it. And we can train your teams while building your product so you don't have to stop building. We help you turn chaos into coherence by aligning your people, process, and product, which is really foundational of what core does, so that you can grow your blockchain startup, lead effective teams, and drive innovation and business success in the technology sector. So the content pillars in this case are, in her case, increase team efficiency while you build. And then here are topics for content: the challenges of team collaboration, making multidisciplinary teams flow in the blockchain space, how individual transformation followed by team transformation adds up to company transformation, like each of those individual steps. This is also the trajectory that we're using and testing right now, of having people individually do my core before we do anything in a team, so that way the teams are aligned first, then we align the company with, and the mission, which goes back to this. So we help you align your mission with the right systems, people, and tools. So in a way, the promise to the last co-creator here backtracks into the previous one, and then backtracks into the previous one all the way to the first one, because these people might be team members on these companies. That's interesting, right? It's like a Russian nesting doll. We're going to do that now for you, Felice, in order to come up with a landing page. And you're building a landing page template in Figma, because we just built one for the system, and you are a master at building, systemized templates in Figma. Am I caught up to
Yeah.
date?
Yes, let's say I got a few trick up my sleeve. Um, so yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to start. I asked you to share,
Yeah, and I allowed it.
to allow me to share my
I
screen.
stopped sharing mine. But let's go real quick before I stop sharing mine and see what
Oh
chat
wait,
people.
okay, I got you. I think I haven't seen
We'll,
any.
we'll, we'll go there. Here's what Felicia's My Core Deck shows a designer who's outgrown the role of creative tool. He's a bridge builder, a synthesizer, and a storyteller with natural pull towards systems thinking, emotional depth, and intercultural fluency. The repositioning should make the visible shifting of his brand from a guy who makes things look good to a guide who makes creative ecosystems work. Ooh, I like that. Here's the strategist's point of view and direction for that repositioning. The core identity, bridge for pirates. His essence line says it all. Felicia provides bridges for pirates with a fearless voice and a let's go culture, helping them feel cozy in the chaos of getting great shit done. That's pure gold. Okay, thank you for flattering us. It translates directly into a creative positioning. He designs bridges between chaos and clarity, helping ambitious, idea drunk founders. Whoa, taking the pirate metaphor pretty
Pretty good
far,
one.
but it's actually very true. I call it shiny object syndrome. And creative leaders turn raw creative energy into sustainable system, products, and narratives. So far, I'm on board. So the public identity should evolve from designer, art director to design strategist and narrative systems partner. Wow, how do you like that?
Definitely sounds sexy.
Sounds sexy. His natural market, vision heavy, chaos prone leaders. Okay, I'm gonna stop there for a second and just say that you're dorky evil, you're quantitative, right? Process orientation and results orientation. I'm obnoxious, flaky. Am I the epitome of a vision heavy, chaos prone leader? And here we are, right?
Yes.
You're helping me do
Yeah.
multiple projects, including, getting the system, uh, where it needs to go. And I asked you explicitly, to give me feedback on what you see, and you said, what was it that you said? Where this is how the system works. Blunt feedback. Done nice.
Yeah, well, yes,
Go
yes,
ahead.
yes.
Well,
Well, that
close
you
the
have
door.
trouble sticking for an idea for long enough to see it through. That is probably the culprit.
Like I set the vision, and then I go to the next shiny object syndrome, which might be a client, or it might be something else and it's hard for me to stick to a straight line. I go like, so that's your natural market, and here you are, right? And then this means that the best clients are people with more energy than direction, creative directors trying to scale, founders juggling design chaos, movement leaders wanting coherence, and investors trying to connect story and impact. All your customer profiles. And isn't that also the clients that we're dealing with right now as we speak?
Yeah, definitely. They're very conscious of the fact that, yeah, they have the same problem.
Same problem. He should position himself not as a vendor, but as a translator between vision and execution. This should already start giving us language for the landing page. I help creative founders and movement leaders turn their vision into a coherent design system, brand, product, and story that actually scales. I mean, not in the sexiest language yet, but
Yeah.
that could already become like the beginning of this landing page is pretty much a shorter version of that. Okay. New role, a systems partner. No pun intended. Instead of being hired for a website or a brand, Felice should offer an on-ramp into a partnership model. Think of this offer as 3 nested layers: diagnosis, a short audit that reveals where creative chaos lives; systems mapping, culture mapping; design architecture, strategic design sprints that align visual, digital, and narrative systems; ongoing direction, fractional design leadership. So in a way, it's like you could be a fractional chief design officer. I actually like that. I would buy
Yeah,
that.
which is kind of what I'd like to position myself as in the past. Yeah.
The language here matters: architecture, systems, alignment, coherence, bridge, words that honor his strategic mind while still being creative. So that was one of the things you said is your primary, like, outside of the design, that's one of your primary skills or talents. Brand narrative: from survival to stewardship, his personal story, loss, reinvention, independence, and reparenting through movement, which is, your journey, is emotional. It's my journey, is the emotional arc that mirrors his professional transformation. He can channel that into a brand narrative that says, I help others build stability without losing their soul. Damn. I'm liking, chat, you're bringing us some really good nuggets here. Visual and verbal style. His unexpected, cozy, fearless attributes can translate into visual identity that blends a warm structure, clean grids. Right now, your site's just black and white, which is very evil, dorky, but
Yes.
you're making a brand not a reflection of just your taste, because, like, for example, you would just wear black t-shirts and jeans every day, right? You're making it
Right, right,
reflect
right.
who you're talking to. So
I guess
once
there are two types of designers that when you have to pick colors for yourself, you either are like me and you pick black and white, or you're like you and you pick 15 different fluorescent colors and
Yeah,
you
it's like super
rub them
obnoxious.
all into the
But remember that that's my personality. I'm obnoxious,
yeah,
flaky.
yeah, yeah.
My
But there are
colors.
only two types of designers, yeah, and they're on this call.
And Dorky Evil, by the way, the colors for Dorky Evil, which we're gonna have to change in the way that we do these backgrounds, it's actually black and acerbic blue. Those are the colors for Dorky Evil. But your target audience is actually obnoxious, flaky, obnoxious. So you need to talk to me. Though that there's a question there. Do you actually target, you know, others like you and then grow your community? Let's say on the left side of your here on the left side of your co-creators, they're probably going to be more like, she's evil, and then these guys are like a little bit more on the obnoxious, flaky. He's dorky, evil, obnoxious. So he's you when you're 59. And the reason why I say that is because it's a good question. I don't think you should like not be yourself in the design. You're not gonna like do, you know, bright magenta and pink and like all that, but just basically lighten it up a little bit so that it's a little bit more, you know, conducive of your who you're
Yes, yes.
targeting.
Yeah, makes
Oh,
sense.
check it
And
out.
I sent you a link at a certain point of a designer that I really envy. And he like is so good with
Can
color.
you do it in the chat here?
Yeah, I sent you the link in the chat.
Wow, he's a
And his
Tumblr.
website is a Tumblr. Yeah.
Ooh.
Look at his work. It's just the latest. Yeah, this one on top is the least interesting. As you go down, it explodes.
But tell me why you envy him.
Yeah, go down, go down. Yeah, this is the least interesting stuff he's done. So yeah, yeah. Now it's coming and stuff. Yeah, look.
Well, if your website was like this, I would be super excited.
Yeah, look at this stuff. Wow.
So really so for you, and since we're designing this page template for you, it's really a mix of the you know, your taste, your delivery ability, and the business mindset. I think like business mindset is first. So it should be a mix of taste first, so and then business delivery, then business mindset, then delivery ability, then collaboration. Um, and I think at the end, the point of view is like your blog. It's like all the writing that you've done that's really amazing, having it on your website. I love this guy. Like this guy is brilliant. So then the issue
Yes.
that this is a Tumblr. This is not even a website. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not gonna continue.
How cool do you have to be there to do this? Get
Okay.
that call.
Are we putting a bunch of work on your site? Yes.
Yes,
Eh,
we're definitely gonna do that. I'm not gonna be ashamed of my work anymore. I've decided.
no, don't be ashamed. I can't, you know, you have great work. All
Yeah.
right, so let's finish reading Chad's recommendations. Visual and verbal style. Warm structure, clean grids with human textures, hand-drawn elements, analog detail. I kind of like that. Unexpected
That's
wit.
what we just looked at.
That's exactly what we just looked at. Subtle, absurdist or sci-fi metaphors like Dune meets Apple aesthetic. Interesting. Tone, conversational but precise. Real talk for complex creatives. Verbally, his copy should sound like this. You've got the vision. You've got I'm gonna hide here all my stuff on the left. Um, you've got the vision. I bring the bridge. Turn creative chaos into design systems that actually scale. How do you like that?
I don't like scale. I think it has nothing to do, but it's a good setup. The phrase, the sentence is a good.
Yeah, we
It's
can
very
tweak
good.
it.
Just scale doesn't make sense because it's not really about scale.
Grow. I mean, no, listen. I'll speak from being one of your primary co-creator profiles. That's what we're trying to do. I'm trying to like make a system that grows the system versus like,
Right, right,
you know,
right.
going all over the place and not being sufficiently focused. Like growth comes from systemization fundamentally. My philosophy and the system's philosophy is that if you're not that way, you should be working with somebody who is your opposite Fido. So my choice of working with you between you and the other people in the core circle has been because you're dorky evil. Imagine me working with other obnoxious, flaky people. Would we get shit done? No.
Nobody will be very interested. The recordings will be very interesting though.
It would be harder to execute
Yeah.
because we would all talk for too long. And in my case, I do all the talking, you do some, but then we're getting the shit done. Okay. Offering your signature offering, bridge sessions. This bridge thing is interesting. He could productize his process as bridge sessions, 2-day or 2-week intensives that help founders or creators diagnose the chaos in their design ecosystem, rebuild clarity between brand, product, and team, and leave with a clear operating map. I kind of like that. I would love a clear operating map. Can you do that for me? This format builds trust and gives him a way to earn the invitation, which is essential for a projector. This downloaded this morning, like during coffee in the morning, and or maybe last night. And what I do is I run to wherever the notebook is and I write it down. The product is the message is the product. I don't know what that meant at all. I just wrote it down and put it on my desk. But this idea of helping rebuild clarity between brand, product, and team, fucking huge. The longer arc, over time, Felicia's brand can stretch into three domains: design systems, partner. So what I see that for startups and studios is what we're doing now is like all the Figma templates, all the components, so that I'll express it this way. I sent you a deck for a nonprofit foundation and the images and kind of like roughly what we needed on the landing page. And I said, you figure out the output. And then Marce from Friends, also my core member, he sent us a template, in Webflow. And you just basically built something in Figma. Like all this happened in real near time in preparation for a meeting the next day. So that to me already begins that. But now, not just for this nonprofit, but for the system, but also for the upcoming clients and also the work that you're doing with the clients that I have introduced you to, who are very systems oriented, by the way. That's what you are. You're a design systems partner for Hein, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
How do you feel about this creative culture architecting?
Yeah, that would be cool to think in systems, not as it simply relates to design and efficiency in design delivery, but yeah, in the whole.
What do you need in order to like be able to go towards the creative culture architect? What skills do you think you're missing?
Well, this came into our one of our earlier my course sessions, and is I didn't really have opportunities for leadership in the past, so I really don't know where I stand. I don't feel confident to step up to um, lead teams, or even support my own point of view regarding structuring, um, collaboration. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, I'm hearing that you
does that
haven't
answer
had
your question?
to lead in teams because you don't work in teams, you've been isolated. So let me ask you another
So, though
question.
in theory I have ideas as to how people could best work together, I didn't really have an opportunity to put that in practice, or lead initiatives to put myself to the test in the role of um, servant leader, and or trying out the ideas that I have. So,
I like that. So let me ask you just from a lesson standpoint, because then this co-creative relationship, both me as a coach, but also you getting an opportunity, you're here in the same place I am. And meaning we're not in the same space, but you're down the street. Um, what have you seen, learned, or what are some tangible takeaways from watching me do the crazy, what I do, which is in a way, creative culture architect? What would be the top lessons so far that you've gotten?
I think one important thing is, and I thought about this before, is about, like, how do you become, trying to look for the right words there. How do you become responsible for how do you become responsible for a thing, is by doing the thing, not by having someone telling you. I mean, there are two ways. Either you step up and do the thing, so you step up and lead, and you step up and start the initiative, uh, or somebody with higher authority. Yeah, sorry, the word I was looking for is authority. So how do you get the authority to do things is two ways. Either you get authority from someone up the chain, or you just do the thing, and since you're doing the thing, you have the authority to do it because you're doing it.
Right.
But then you only become a leader in an environment in which you have trust from the people that you have around you, and you are in a supportive environment where once you do step up to do the thing, then you have people to support you, because a leader alone does not exist. You cannot be a leader by yourself.
There has to be trust that goes both ways.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, for someone like me, especially because of my human design and my Fido, my difficulties sometimes in relinquishing trust, and that definitely makes some, it creates challenges in how you show up in your community and projects, etc. Comes from not accepting myself as a leader, but also um, letting go of control of what exactly it should be, what should happen or how it should happen, and letting the team, or letting the the people that you're leading basically take on the leadership role beyond you. You just choose great people and then you let them do their thing. So I'm learning that lesson over and over again by understanding how to vet and assess, honestly vet and assess in a way that's mindful and respectful of the teams you're vetting and that you're onboarding into something larger. The reality too is that then that goes into how would we say, it goes into it goes into a lot of things, but one of the things is uh, the right word is incentives, right? What are the incentives for everyone, and who's working from a point of view of clarity as to a give and a take, right? I'm always very conscious to wanting to make sure that I'm giving more than I take, and then the end result, or the way that we're building the system out as we speak, is completely transparently providing that to everybody in the community and setting the give and take exchanges into a system that is equitable, but also fair and transparent. So that's why blockchain and where we're headed is towards, you know, a tokenized system of reputation inside the system community. But that's, I don't want to talk about future vision. So educator and mentor, teaching design coherence and ethical creativity. How do you feel about that recommendations from Chad?
I like it, but I'm not interested in, I mean, I'm always open to change my mind if I find someone that can figures a way for me to work with this, but I'm not interested in doing courses or teaching classes, sharing my knowledge in other ways, like through writing or I don't know, live events, something like that. That might be cool. But seeing myself as, yeah, just having a course online or something, it's not something that I am at the moment particularly interested in.
So to some degree, like the next
But
evolution.
for example, oh, sorry, I would like to add one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mentoring one-on-one, like having someone to mentor or, answer any kind of questions, AMAs with designers that might learn something from my experience. That would be, yeah, that would be very attractive to me. I don't know, being on podcasts to share my story and my knowledge and my process. Yeah, that would be very interesting to me
Fine.
instead.
But you don't see yourself at, you're not like, I want to jump on the stage and like, you know, preach the gospel of Felice.
Yes, I want to have conversations. That is the point. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I love that. So you take over and tell me how you now would organize. I'm gonna, we just went through some leadership skills there. So I'm gonna stop sharing. And we said we were gonna create a list for what should be on this landing page template. Based on
Yeah, we have
this,
something ready, but let's look at it closer.
do you think this gave you any clarity?
Uh, Definitely, yes, yes.
And while you're setting that up, I just want to highlight that the one of the things that I have been missing, or because if you look at my Figma files, I'm like locochon style. It's like everything is like all over the place, because that's how my mind works. And then when you joined on a project that we're doing for friends, um, the approach you brought of really like doing it the right way when it comes to Figma modularization and systemization, I was like, yes, that's what we need in this to make it look really good. And we're going to show that project sooner than later, once it's live. But I just want to highlight that your strength as a systemizer and dorky evil is really what I have seen and value, in addition to your taste, which is very important, and your ability to like, if I were to just let go of the wheel and let you deliver, I would be okay, right? Of course, and here, feedback wise, doing it live. How was I to work with as a creative director on that project relative to your input and you feeling like you were included in the process?
Yes, well, I value your creative vision. So, can you hear me? Because I think my connection is very unstable. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, yeah, you froze for a moment. So I was saying, for me, it's a privilege to work with you. I value your creative vision. So it's very important for me to kind of squeeze everything out of you in terms of creative direction and vision that you have, and um, I helped you explore directions with other members of the community in the mood board phase, in the when we created the different creative directions. So for me, it was a matter of um, getting everything out of you in terms of creative direction and really understanding what you were trying to achieve. And then after, I think I had a very good understanding of the vision to try to elevate the details, because that is what then makes really, the devil's in the details. Um, but yeah, it was a conversation all the time, and we always talked. Um, there is a creative vision to defend and to represent and to do justice to, but there is also client needs and an audience to talk to and business objective. And I think the conversations that we've had in terms of creative solutions were always tailored to catering to all these different needs, and I felt very balanced and fair. So I think it was a great collaboration. I felt heard. I shared my ideas openly. I didn't. I never felt like. And this is very important, because sometimes when you know you're not going to be listened to, then you shut down. You just get the thing that this is how teams die and projects die. But I always felt very motivated to share my point of view, because I know that our conversation will lead us somewhere, whether we implemented my idea as it came out of my mouth or not.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're right. We couldn't, once we looked at what the output or the work product was, like I call it jazz, right? Like I played a tune, you played a tune with it and a counter tune. You gave your ideas, I responded to them. If there was this give and take the whole time that at the end produces a greater than, and then the development team has it right now, and now they're adding their, point of view, limitations, challenges, and obviously we've already done some reviews, but we're going to do more. So the development kind of then will provide another layer of like changes to how exactly it is. But from what we've seen so far, from styles, from visionscapes, right, to the landing the design presentation to the client and the client going, wow, okay, yeah. All of that, my job again as creative director was to really not only have the the client's point of view in mind, knowing what their overall like kind of like taste levels and what they're thinking, to push them a bit, get them out of their comfort zone. But at the same time, and I call it, the duck strategy, it needed to quack like a duck, walk like a duck, and whatever the third thing is, as a duck, uh, so that it would meet the strategic objectives, the business goals, it would meet the brand objectives, and it would meet the user objectives, which is exactly what core is. What we're doing right now and right here, and this is set up for you going next, is that we're looking at a landing page, And we're looking at how to translate your core to it so that we can make that jump for you in the repositioning. And we just asked Chad for help to do some clarification to like, basically Chad is kind of like a third person kind of strategist helping us out. And now you're going to share the process and I'm going to shut up.
Yes. So the idea one more thing, one last thing that I wanted to add about the collaboration and my approach to designing in Figma or in any other software, because the point is not the software, but is what I'm trying to do is, and can I tell a little personal story? I'll be brief. I remember when I started as a packaging designer, because this is how I professionally started working as a designer. I started in print designing packaging for consumer goods. I remember I once, for some reason, ended up at this print shop. I brought the design myself for some reason. And so I was there sitting with the graphic designer that had to actually get the files ready to ready for print. And I was sitting behind this guy who was like, 30 years older than me. I sent him files that I had designed and that I thought, all right, done, sent him the design. And he had to go at the time. I don't think you had any way to make this more efficient, but he had to go through each one of the files, and it was hundreds, and change my blacks from a mixture because I had designed in RGB instead of CMYK, and I just translated to CMYK. He had to change each file one by one to K100, and the rest of it to zero. And I looked at the pain and the suffering, and the guy was doing it so stoically and so amicably. I thought, oh, this is normal. Like, this is how this person spends his days. Like, and so from that moment on, that really kind of made me realize, wow, you just one small mistake, just one little laziness or one little ignorance or one little detail translates to hours of added, you know, hundreds of hours of work down the line that is not pleasant and it's just terrible. And this guy's gonna go back home today. He's gonna feel destroyed, and tomorrow he's gonna come back to the same thing. So anyway, my approach from then on, I realized the responsibility that you have as a designer, if not only to the client but also to everybody else involved in the projects. Being good to work with, being efficient, being have a positive attitude, prepare your files correctly, even just so a set of small things that make every project better and the life of everyone involved in every project better. And that's why I think it's systems in Figma now, because when I send those files to the developers, I know that I have saved them hours of work. They're gonna have a better day. The end product is gonna be better because instead of talking about small details, we can talk about adding more layers of refinement and sophistication to the product rather than being there talking about, hey, is this 80 pixel, is this 40 pixel, where does this thing align? Like, everything is included in the file that I send over. So I see it as a kind of an act of responsibility and generosity in the way I work.
I think that's a beautiful and it's baseline. I mean, I have the tendency to make an effort to ensure that that's happening across the board as we deliver and as we do things. Um, it's definitely harder for me to manage that as a delivery, and meaning just to do that actively. And it's easier than when you work with other creators and creatives and designers than on the process side that really are that detail oriented. It makes a huge difference and I'm breathing like, whew, okay. So yeah,
And
I,
we talked about it. I don't think I'm that detail oriented in the end. I
well,
just set up systems so that in the end the product is detailed, but I take care of details before, so I don't have to worry too much about it later.
so let's call it process oriented first.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
because
Yeah.
the D, the dark evil, that's your first one. And if you look at it from the point of view of outcome, in your mind, your level of detail orientation. And I can attest that that's true. There's things missing in the wireframe. I have to know them, etc. But that's why you work. I'm a firm believer in how we work. In ADHD, it's called body doubling. In programming, in extreme programming or agile development, it's called parent paired programming where you have two developers working on the same thing so they can check their code. I'm a firm believer in paired design, and we're doing it, right? We've done it in how we deliver. Jam sessions is basically paired designing. And sometimes we do more than one. So the thing that we don't recognize in ourselves is always our gift. So I can facilitate a jam session with 5 designers. I can bring a team of 6 people in a startup to online. I can do all these things that people look at it and go, wow, that's magic. And then I think, well, I'm not, whatever, I'm okay, right? So you're seeing your level of detail as, oh, I'm not as detail oriented, but that's because you're dorky evil and you're always going to be poo-pooing people's, like, oh no, I don't think that's good enough. Anyway, that's an aside. Let's get this done here so that
Yes. So I'm gonna try to sum up what we're trying to do here, based on our conversation before the call. So what we're trying to do here is we were putting together a wireframe of a landing page that we think is the ideal landing page for an agency service provider, like the kind of people that are on, kind of creative people that are part of our community. So we're building this asset as a resource for the community, and then we will probably in a future phase we will work in the content that we have been um, trying
yeah. So
started
today we're
developing
doing
with ChatGPT. But today we're putting together the wireframe. I'm gonna go over very quickly how because we're gonna share this exact resource with the community. I'm gonna quickly go over also how to kind of customize the styles of this page so that it can be a design file ready to go to production. Is
beautiful.
that
Can you give me access so I can work farther away from you and then you can bring it into view? I'm
uh,
going, just give
yes,
me
send your email in your or yeah, give me your email. Everybody's gonna see your email in this recording.
it's Jose.
So use an email that is
It's Jose at the system.co.
system.
.co.
Cool. Then
Can edit,
hopefully,
can edit, can edit. Because what I want to do, and then we'll just do it for now. You can take me out of there later. All right, let's
yeah,
see
yeah, it's
if
fine.
uh gives me the little bell and
Did you get my
Figma.
invitation? Because I guess one thing we have to talk before I start is portfolio placement. We haven't talked about.
Um, I say that we leave it very modular, like for now. Like I would like the portfolio to be at the top, but you're more I like how you approach it. Like it should have a hero, so make it a secondary thing, and the hero is kind of
Yes.
going to be tailored at your value proposition. What
Okay.
I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, while
Yeah.
you're working on that and narrating it, I'm going to start working on your my core translation into so that we can create copy. I'm not writing copy. I am just translating your co-creator profiles into the components that you need for the copies to be written. So I'm going problem, what we do, the promise, synthesize so that the outcome can be, and then here's some content pillars around that, which will then lead to your blog and to other things, or even to, you know, some of the key content there. So I'm doing the process of translation somewhere on the side of that document, but back to you in the studio to show everyone how you're going to build this.
Uh, I'm not familiar with the technical side of Zoom, so I hope that my screen is the main thing people see in the
Yeah,
recording.
that's what people are seeing.
All right, cool.
Definitely make sure that you're zoomed in more because when it's really small, you can't really read what you're doing.
Yes.
I'm gonna,
Yeah, yeah, I'll zoom in. All right, cool. So I am in Figma now, and what I use to quickly put together landing pages when I need to do something uh, quick and dirty, let's say. This idea for this template um,
my things are huge,
is
so I'm gonna move it out to the right.
yeah, you're gonna have to either resize them or um,
Oh, you showed me
uh,
how to resize it. I think it's like, or Mauro showed me how to resize. Oh, no.
Hit K and you can scale stuff, and hit V
That's,
and you modify them. Yeah,
oh my
right.
God. Hello, old man
Um,
tool. All right, go. It's all you.
So I'm in this file. This is actually I use this kit that is designed by the people at Reloom. They do not sponsor us. We're not getting anything in return. But I just use their Figma kit a lot because they have a lot of sections pre-designed, and they have a beautiful style guide that's very easy to customize. And I'll show how to do that at the end once we put the wireframe together. Um, and most beautiful thing, their components are made in a way that you can one-click export to Webflow. So you can have your website live, one-click export from Figma. We have a development partner for Webflow that we love very much as part of the community. So we love Webflow too. I've used it for clients in the past. It's a great product. Even then, we're not we're not sponsored. Uh, but
Yeah,
yeah,
by
that's
web.
the stack for today. That's the stack for today.
Beautiful. So who provided the template? Who was the company?
Reloom,
Got it.
or actually, there's I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right, but it's Relume, Relume.
Got it.
We'll share the template as it is and the link to the to all the things in the description in the community.
Beautiful.
Uh, So, what I have put together here real quickly is we have an opinion as to what the perfect landing page, or let's say a great landing page, an essential landing page for a creative service business should have. And we have made a list of the sections here. So there will be a hero with a value proposition, social proof, and a CDA button, and text, portfolio section. We talked a lot about the portfolio section, and we think it's kind of an opinion of where the portfolio can stand on the page, depending on your customer profiles. But for now, we will put it at the top of the page, right under the hero section. Then we will have a logos, results, accolades sections. If you're an agency or a creator that has worked with big names, definitely use a logo bar. If you are not, you might want to get creative with this section and add accolades, for example, if you won any awards. This is what I do on my website, or mentions on any online publications. Again, this is what I do on my website because I don't have big recognized logos to in my client portfolio for now. Then we have a problem agitation section that we use to show the clients that show our co-creators that we understand what their pains are. Um, then a solution section in which we position our service, product, approach, or framework as the solution to the problems that we just listed. Testimonial sections with real testimonials, of course, with names, possibly results of what you achieved for your clients within the testimonials themselves. It will help to have a testimonial request template because that maybe that's earmarked. This is another interesting resource that we can link for the community. And if you have photos of your testimonials to add uh, to the testimonial quotes, that increases trust. So I'll definitely do that. Then the features, benefits of product or services. You lead with the benefit and follow with the feature. It's probably more if your product um, maybe productized services have features with them, but anyway, lead with benefits. And how it works section. This is a perfect section to explain what your framework is or your process is. If you can limit the steps to as few as possible, three would be a great number. I do that on my website. Maybe I can show an example later. I have one process in 3 steps and another process in four steps. Another as you approach the end of the page, you're going to have an objection handling section where you address common objections proactively. Sometimes people have Q&As where they do this. A Q&A
FAQ.
section. FAQ, sorry, yeah. FAQ section, that's probably one easy way to get this handled. Final CTA above the footer, where you create agency and summarize value, and then the footer. And in the footer, you include links to everything and anything, because you know, internet visitors are now used to. They now know that in the website footer they can find anything and everything they want, while the experience is more guided in the top navigation and within the website pages. So I will use this list that I have here as a guide to select components, sections for the page. Again, the sections are already designed and part of the kit that I'm using. So I will show you how I do that. We go into the assets panel on left, created in these files. And of course, we want to start with the navigation. So we're going to put this is in alphabetic order, so I'm going to put the navigations.
Yeah, you should um,
Bars.
yeah, I can see it. Oh wow, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that.
Yes.
Well, I know that it's there. I know that
Yeah. Yeah, this kit is really amazing. They have hundreds of pre-made sections. It's incredible.
wow.
Now we're looking for a hero section. I will pick a text-based hero section because we are going straight into the portfolio after it, so we don't really need images in the hero. But let's.
And I think we can do something in the final design where we have a bridge, no pun intended, from like text to hero. Like the hero has something sexy in the for that
Definitely.
like me that want to
Yes.
work.
Yeah. I'm gonna have this so it has some images here. I'm gonna just
Wow, and it
put
just
this
snaps.
into an
I'm
auto
like the
layout
custom guy
frame so
for this
everything snaps together. Um, Now we're looking for is for a logo section, I think. We also look for text. Maybe that's not a good idea to close too many things. Logos. Okay. Oh wait, I missed the portfolio section. Projects. Section I look like this. Logos.
Could we, based on the one that we're doing now, then kind of componentize our version of that and put it back out as a kit?
Oh, 100%. Yes, we can customize or yeah, we can have our own components here. I'm just using pre-made, so it was quicker to put together. And I can also put together a few different versions right here on this call
But
while you.
let's land one version so that
Yeah.
it's time efficient.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna be done soon. Problem
I'm gonna
agitation.
have one. This is like cooking a cooking show. I'm gonna have one. Uh, instead of using doing the graphic designer, I'm gonna do the investor. I'm gonna actually switch to. I'm gonna switch to this one.
So I'm gonna go since I'm familiar with the with this kit, so I know where to find stuff. But if you go into features, there are a lot of sections of the
Yeah, talk
users.
it out.
So let's just find
Or I can also ask questions like when you use a component and you drag it in, and it looks like it has dark mode and light mode, etc. It's componentized to where, if you do the mobile, it also will scale. Is that correct?
in this case, this kit, yes, every component comes in mobile and desktop version, and um, it has the starting kit has one color mode, but you can easily create other color modes. can I show the work in progress for the system so you can see an example of color modes in action?
Yeah.
So these are color modes. So I'll show you the magic of color modes is that I have this color mode that is white and black, but if I copy the same component to the purple color mode, it
Ooh,
just replaces all the colors with that one. So I can basically change color mode of a frame. This is so cool. And all the
cool.
colors in the frame change the way I set up the color mode. So I have four color modes here.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I, yeah, I like that. I love that.
So we're looking for a section with a few, let's say, columns, so we can talk about two or three pain points. Yes. Let's see. This one, this one. So this is- Okay. Solution is where we talk about framework, like something. This testimonials. What's this in this section? So, yeah, here you can have like logos of the companies as additional social proof in this section. Let's give it a second. Customer testimonials, features, benefits. So it's gonna look very much like this one. Then how it works. So let's see the process. Something like this, or okay, I'm not gonna go with anything too fancy because the point of the exercise here is more to show what you shouldn't miss
The
on the page.
modularization. And then once you're done with your first draft, let's look at it and review it, how we are gonna need to modify it next, even though we're not gonna do that here. And then I'll show the whole flow for for a
Yeah, that's it.
for
Okay.
one on for one co-creator profile um that I'm building over here on the right.
Here. Let's say 3 steps instead of 4. And we got the how it works, objection handling, which we said we're gonna do in the shape of a previous
Yep.
question section. See if there's one you like. Section form. Let's go with this. Final CTA. Should get find something. Say this. Oh, see. Oh. This. Then a footer, extensive footer in sense, that shows the visitors everything that you do. So it's social media links, links to outside, uh, portfolios. Let's see what we can find. So simple one here. Yeah, if you have a newsletter, that you're going to have. There you go. That's good enough. That's what I'm gonna do since I just can't resist customizing stuff. Okay. And yeah, the first
So let's look at
draft
that.
is
Let's look at
done.
it almost like if it was a website, because now we can
Yes.
actually start putting, oh, I love that preview mode. Now we can really start putting what we're doing here, what I'm doing on this side. Um,
You know what? Sorry, I want to change this because I think it's too opinionated, and for this exercise might just get in the way more than. So I'm
do the
gonna
one
just
that
change
has
it here.
text and then graphic at the other side, visual on the other side. I kind
All
of
right,
like
all
that.
right. This classic one.
Yeah, yeah. I think that one maps a little bit better to what, like even if it was like a big image.
So here we are. Here's section portfolio, and social proof, uh, agitation, problem agitation, solution, testimonials, how it works. Sorry, feature benefits, features, how it works, process, objection handling, final CTA, and footer.
In the footer. Bam. You got your wireframe done very quickly with Lorem Ipsum, way faster than how I do it by hand. This is like I'm blown away. This is like showing people magic on the street. David Blaine. You're David Blaine. That's perfect. All right. So we have that. So now, and I'm in the same Figma. I'm gonna switch to my view, um, and
If you still have some work to do, I can move on to showing how to customize styles a bit,
but
if that could be
for
useful.
today,
But
I think this is a
all
pretty
right,
damn good. So what I'm going to show real quick. So we have this. I'm going to attempt to create just that for now. Um, I love the portfolio in this way. I think we should do this for the system landing page, because it has the image, the name, the tags. I love that. That's super on point. Um, I love this. So here's where I'm at. I'm going to show what I've been doing. So I was able to extract from your my core. This is you, which is also mapping to this the solo hustler. This is where you were. So you're Joy. Um, but I realized, you know what? Let's do this like we did today for the system. Let's make this more about him, about Jorge, 44. And these things is they're interesting. People get really confused with the my core, how it's actually your needs, Felice, at that stage in your career. Like let's say now you're an executive or you're, an entrepreneur and you have an empire that you're building. But then you switch it to being somebody else, and you go, okay, he has a large vision for what he's doing, but lacks the people or the process to translate it into digital solutions. Let's call it that. Um, his previous development partners, like let's look at it from a technology standpoint, did not offer any guidance or advice or options. It was a very like scope-based process. Where am I making this up from? I'm making this up from literally the client leads that come to the table. Have you experienced this before, Felice? People that call it spurn lover syndrome.
what do they call it?
I call it spurn lover syndrome, meaning
Okay.
like let in a dating scenario, somebody's skeptical or not trusting because they were hurt before.
Yes, definitely. Yes, 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 yes.
And when you
100%.
go to a development agency,
All of that.
especially if you're trying to save money, let's say you hire a developer in like, India or in Latin America or wherever, you get a lot of like engineering based kind of solutions, but the design and the creativity is kind of, they don't include you in it potentially, they don't have a process. So that the frustration is that you don't get what you originally wanted. Does that make sense? And you
Yes,
have to do it because you're running out of time and out of budget. And then the
yes.
third, which is actually again based on reality, is that they need to build community, but doesn't know how. And also the likelihood, they're obnoxious, flaky, which is a very social, very outgoing. They have a very line of sight community, meaning they network inside the real world, but to translate that online for them is very hard because to do that you have to build funnels, you have to do it. I'm projecting myself. It's hard to systemize and grow a community when you're flaky, obnoxious, or obnoxious flaky in this case, because you have a big vision and it's hard to put it into a straight line. Does that make sense?
Yes, and from our conversation at this stage in your career, you still have conflicting, like you haven't like you still have a lot of stuff going on and um, lots of projects going on at the same time, so you're kind of busy. So
Very
that's also another
busy,
challenge.
very
Yeah,
busy. Jorge has like, three kids.
conflicting kind of. Yes, exactly. Yes,
He has four businesses.
right.
He's invested in a bunch of other things. He's on the board of a nonprofit that Robin is doing. Like it's just a lot. So having a leader that says, "Look, I gotcha. I invites you to a few, does a discovery or whatever the Chad said it should be called, a process, and then comes back to you. Basically, replicates the process that we went through with Tusset or with the clients that we're working on now, right? Which are all based on the team core or core discovery. Um, this is very explicitly based on a project that I just did where we actually built the community for the client and then they managed it and they hired people to deal with it. All right, so then we work with you to translate your vision. This is exactly what I was just saying. We work with you to translate your vision into a roadmap that can be executed Our process includes you and your team. It is iterative and it gives you options. So it's collaborative. That's the best way to say it. We can help you tangibly build community, literally. This is the tit for tat. These are the problems. Here are the solutions. So that's what already in the template. Those three things, like, can you put like shorter versions of this, translate your vision into a roadmap? Can you put that into the solution right here? Those three things here, boom, boom, boom. And the reason why I use three is because if you look at everything here, it's three, three, three. It's a magic number. All right, then finally, the promise, translate your
This
big
is into
vision.
the solutions, right?
Yes, translate your big vision into clear design solutions. That's a better word, that drive growth. That sounds super pedantic and it ain't sexy for now, but I'm gonna make that the headline. Oh, what I love about that is, um, what I love about these templates is that they expand and everything. You don't have to move stuff around. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, baby.
This is magic. To be fair, I was very skeptical and scared of going this full-on systemization. So you've helped me through the chaos in a very cozy way. Oh, that's a joke because it's also your brand attributes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, all right. So you can grow your business without the friction, and you can push the envelope and innovate and get results all in one. Oh my God, yes. I can grow the system without all the friction that I create because I'm a nut job and I can push the envelope. This is the testimonial and innovate and get results all in one. That's exactly the testimonial. So you write that, it writes itself, right?
Yes.
All right. And then here, the content pillars. Oh shit, I didn't even finish them. Look at that. I can't even finish this thing. So let's finish them. So the content pillars align vision and execution. And then what are the topics that we're going to talk about? All right, I go back here. Here are the topics that we're going to talk about, which is going to be, yeah, spurn lover syndrome is a great topic. And this is like, uh, we know you've been burned before.
Yes. And it's
Stop.
funny because clients are ready to love. They're waiting to find someone they can love and give all their work with and share their wealth with. But it's just, yeah, they've been burned in the past so much. They're just
They're skeptical.
jaded. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're skeptical. So how to work with multidisciplinary team. No, this is from the previous one. Let me get rid of these. Um, topic, topic. I'm just gonna come up with topics here. I wanted to erase these from our previous, these on the left are all from the system. So ignore them. But so work with you to translate your vision into a roadmap that can be executed. You've been burned before, we got that one. So this is like from vision to execution, how we do it. How we do it.
Yeah.
We
Bridge
do
the
it
gap. Yeah.
it's
Bridge the
really
gap.
an article about your process, right? And I have the tendency to be pedantic first, meaning like because that's my personality. There's this book called Sales Dogs, and it equates dog breeds to salespeople, and
Yes.
you gotta
You
go
mentioned
read
that
it
before.
because I'm not gonna explain it. But I am a Chihuahua. I talk a lot. Technical and Labrador. I'm very loyal. I'll stick around. I'll make sure the stuff gets done no matter what. All right. Our process includes you and your team. It's iterative and gives you options. So talking about flexibility, talking about, collaborative design. What is collaborative design? Again, these aren't like the titles. You can fine tune those, but these are the topics that are going to help support your ability to close this client. We can help you build how we build community, how we build communities. And that might, in your case, that might be a very community, a very technical, like oriented, we use Circle or we use this platform or we use, whatever. Here's how we've done it. It's the best way. If you haven't done it yet, here's how we would do it. Or it could be again literal. It could be like we're part of the system, we're part of the collective which is part of the system, and this is how we're building community, and then you invite them, or you just demo our community, and all they want to see is that it's active and people are saying something, right? And that's it. That validates you. Then you find somebody in the system collective who can help you build community, like TJ, and they set up circle for them. And then you give them a guide, from somewhere. The circle has some really good guides, and they know they need to hire a community manager. So they hire a community manager who starts building that out, right? I'm describing the exact approach we took on a client, right? We basically, I found somebody in the collective, that in the system, that knows how to do it, and they did it for that client. I billed just the hours for doing that to the client. At our rates, we have transparent rates. So the benefit, and I'm going to dovetail this into the system, is that at being part of the collective, you have both the you have the network, basically. You have the community. A lot of what we had dinner the other night with a designer. What did she say her biggest challenge was? She didn't have what? She didn't have a team to deliver what she
Yes,
wanted to do, and she didn't want to do it herself.
exactly. Yes, right, right.
So when you're an
Well, she actually resigned to do it. It's because you remember we had these things itself in common. She was resigned to do things herself, scale down the operation so that she can manage without getting overwhelmed. But yeah, the desire, yeah, she just had to put to sleep the desire to work on larger project, be surrounded by people, yeah, be working with a team, yeah, which is something that I can relate to a lot because it's the exact same thing I banged my head against for basically my entire career.
And here we are. And I'm going to take the promise. I'm not going to make it fancy. I'm just going to do it tit for tat pedantically. I'm going to put it in here. Translate your big vision into clear design solution that drives growth. How does that feel for you? And then I'm going to actually compare it to your existing one, which I think is pretty damn close.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And keep in mind that we have only done one of them. The final one is gonna either try to mix multiple ones. I'm actually gonna screenshot it and put it in here instead of going live to your site because it's faster already.
Yeah, I am screenshotting stuff as well. I noticed that I'm not sharing my screen anymore.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
you're
sharing.
sharing. Oh,
Here,
okay, cool, cool.
I'll let go. I'm gonna stop sharing, and it's all you.
Oh, I don't need to do anything else. You're leading. I was following you in Figma anyway, so people would see what you were doing all the time.
Oh, got it. Oh, no, I got you. I actually switched to me sharing so that I
Cool.
can guide it. That's the well, but here we go. Like I'm gonna do my upload. This is my upload. This is what I got out of this. One, thank you for the openness and willingness to do this crazy live stuff. Um, oh my God, we basically wireframed your website in an hour, based on what we've already been working on, meaning um, the My Core framework, right? Which we've been doing since today is our coaching day. And even though we only did one and now we have to finish the other ones, uh, I'll just kind of like, I'm gonna say like, I I'm like impressed on the technical side because I could have never done that wireframe that fast. It would have taken me hours and days, and like I wouldn't even start and wouldn't finish, and
Yeah, but
that.
again, it's just I just have a couple of tricks, and you can do this with these resources and the thing I just shared with you, like anybody can.
I'm gonna have to
Just
rewatch the
little
video
Figma
because I'm
proficiency.
learning a
Yeah,
ton.
yeah.
So that's my last part of my upload. The upload usually is like, what have you gotten out of this session? I've gotten out of working together so much. First of all, peace of mind because I have a large vision, and I just haven't had the right person to translate that into just the digital solutions like what we're doing right now with the system website. I've been not that previous. I have a lot of different, uh, uh, not that previous development partners didn't offer me guidance per se or options. Is that I didn't feel I was getting the level of fidelity and quality on the design side. Um, in a way that kept me moving, like with excitement. With you, I've been able to like just get excited because I don't have to worry about whether the technical solution, in this case, the design, because I'm a designer and that's my biggest priority. Um, and by the way, this is a big thing for creative entrepreneurs that are either designers or very aesthetic people, like the architecture client we're working with Marce and friends. They're worried that whoever they hire won't be able to translate their creative vision, and
Yes, design
that
excellence is a big point for
it's been a huge issue for me, and it has really not allowed me to move forward. So I'm very grateful to that. And I know that I need to let go, and that part of building in community is letting people like yourself shine. So what I just did is I just projected myself into this particular customer profile. And the point of that is that I want to, whoever watches this till this point, which is going to be very few people, um, that's how you do customer or co-creator profiles, and that's how you come up with them. You're basing it on the reality of what is, and the people that are in your community, and the clients you've had. And if you don't have a lot of experience, then interview your customers directly and find out, which we just did for Marce and friends. He basically had me in the coaching capacity as a client, with them as a client. I interviewed his customers and really found out what they needed and what they got from them, past customers, and that helped us build the service offering moving forward and fidelity into the sales pitch, so that they can then increase their sales, because now they're talking directly to their customers because they now know their past, right? It's a trippy thing. That's why the exercise is past you, foundational you, et cetera, all the way to aspirational you. And people are like, what? It's empathy, right? It's the golden rule. And I'm complete, and you can do your upload.
and yeah, my upload is that well, first of all, I hope sometimes I ask myself, what does expertise even mean? Like what I just mentioned, it's true. Anybody with access, with basic understanding of how Figma works and access to this resource that I just used, could have put together this wireframe in same 5 minutes that I spent on it. There's value in the fact that there was a conversation at the base, at the bottom of this as to what makes a great landing page that we had. So that's part of the values I've made. Um, but part of the job of, like knowing the tools of the trade is part of the job. It's part of expertise. It's part of knowing an expert in the specific thing that you do. And in my specific case is designer, like designing, like doing the producing, um, producing designs. Not I'm not as much a creative director, though I'm planning to step into the role. But as a production designer, if you allow me the term, though I understand it's confusing, like, it makes a lot of difference to be able to churn out a landing page in 5 minutes. And part of the thing is being up to date and knowing the tools and being curious about and always inquisitive about, is there a better way to do this? Is there a more efficient way to do this? Because we need to focus on design excellence and big ideas, and we cannot waste time pushing pixels, because pushing pixels is just attrition. The least amount of pixel pushing we can do, the better. If you love pushing pixel, do it. Like,
I mean,
if you love it, it makes you happy, please keep doing whatever that is. But in the job of a designer, is that pushing pixel is friction. Um, so yeah, it's just interesting to see how, because when I look at this thing, oh, what is worth it? Just have a tree cap on a sleeve. I just use this library and I put together a wireframe, like whatever, anybody can do it. So I'm always kind of reassessing into my mind, what does expertise actually mean? Um,
Yeah, and that's the journey that we're on. I think what you're saying is interesting in that if you look at your co-creator profiles, and the first one, right, is just a designer hustling on their own. The second one is kind of more like a creative director. It's actually the directory you're on. The ability to have these conversations to facilitate the process of like extracting everything from a client and like managing, contracts and managing scope and managing all those things. That's what drives you towards being more on the leadership side as a creative, as a creator. And you're right. One thing you said earlier at the beginning of the session is like the difference between somebody who's an expert or considered an expert, and somebody who isn't, is that the expert either does it and that gives them the validation, or got a validation from whatever, their previous job or university or whatever. But we're in a world now that that doesn't matter anymore. You just have to do it. And most people that get to the expert level and who have done it enough and enough and enough is because they actually have been, in our community, in the system community, in the future, in all the bunch of communities that have sprouted, since the launch of, the school and the future. And now it's an infinite game, whether you're, a kid in an apartment in Medellin, doing this for clients on Upwork, or you're Felice de la Gatta who started that way and now you're making the jump in the transition into growth and creative leadership by being part of the system, by being coached in my core, and by us co-creating together. My goal and my purpose, which I defined in 2017 when I left what is now the future, is the transformation of my creative community, of my people. Who are my people? Designers, user experience designers, developers, artists, crazy, basically pirates. So you are my people, right? And you're a profile in my core. You're that first one, even though you don't have dreads. But that kind of
I
transition.
used to.
Oh, I did not know that. Good to know.
That's
That idea, that together we can build anything, is very true, and I'm really excited, and now I'm gonna have lunch.
likewise. Well, enjoy.
Yeah, let's grab some coffee or some non-alcoholic beverages later today.
Yeah, go. I'm looking forward to it. Bye.